Now to the coronavirus pandemic right off the top. Texas did hit a new single-day record. More than 5,000 new cases of COVID-19 reported today since we spoke yesterday. Here in North Texas, Dallas County now reporting 445 new cases today, 7 new deaths to go with that. In Tarrant County, 260 new cases and 1 death. And you can see the county-by-county totals on this map. These are all the numbers since the outbreak began. As a reminder, thousands of people have also recovered from COVID-19. We must report that, but due to different reporting systems, it's pretty hard to accurately track those numbers, but we certainly recognize so many recoveries, and we're grateful for that. And we're grateful to be joined today by Texas Governor Greg Abbott to talk a little bit. Governor, good afternoon. Dr. Fauci today testifying on Capitol Hill. I don't know how much of it you got to see, but he did say the next 2 weeks, in his words, for Texas are critical. We watched your press conference yesterday. You said the current spread in Texas is unacceptable. You also said if spikes continue, added measures are going to be needed. Can you talk to the public a little bit about what you mean regarding added measures? And also, I'd like to know, what's your benchmark when you decide on instituting those kind of measures, whatever they might be?
Well, we'll go in some sequencing here. The benchmarks we're looking at are the ones that I talked about yesterday, and that is in part the number of people testing positive, but maybe more important is the positivity rate and the hospitalizations, all of which have pretty much doubled over the past 3 or 4 weeks. So my first message to the public that's watching this is people must know the facts, and those the facts are that COVID-19 is expanding far faster and far wider than at any time during the pandemic in Texas, and that is exactly why we are having to take additional measures. Some of these measures are new things I just announced before coming on the show. They include giving local authorities more authority and more ability concerning large gatherings. My executive order before today was to give local authorities the ability to regulate large gatherings outdoors of 500 or more people. That was intended to focus on the 4th of July. That number has now been lowered to 100 people, and hence giving more control for local authorities as they respond to 4th of July celebrations. Another thing that I did today was to make mandatory following certain requirements involving child care centers. Before today, they were recommendations. As of today, they are now requirements. Those address 2 areas in which there either could be or have been outbreaks. That's on top of what I talked about yesterday. One simple thing to reinforce. Because of the amount of spread that we have in Texas now, it is very important to follow those instructions to be sure and wear a mask. If you wear a mask, you are ensuring you should not contract COVID-19.
Governor, let's talk about the school year a second. And you get asked about this all the time, and we're going to keep harping on it. Teachers in classrooms with students, it appears most of the decision-making is going to come down to the schools at the district or the local levels. We have heard, honestly, here at CBS 11 from a lot of teachers who say that they personally are not comfortable necessarily with that decision to be back in the classroom. They feel they're being put at risk. So I'd like you, for just one moment, address those who do not feel safe as an educator to be back in class, likely in August.
For educators, for students, for parents, they all need to know there are 2 primary focal points by the Education Commissioner as he rolls out what the school plan will be. One is the primary thing will be the health and safety of the teachers and the students and the parents. The second is to build in flexibility. What that means is flexibility to make sure that all children will be able to be educated, whether it be in a classroom with a teacher or working with the teacher through distance learning strategies that school districts will have perfected when school starts this year, as opposed to the way they had to pick it up midstream in the last school year.
Right. Federal funding for testing, for COVID testing sites in Texas, that's going to run out a week from today, if I got my calendar right, June 30th. City of Dallas came out a short time ago and said that they want to continue with these sites. My question, will you seek another extension to keep as much testing in the state as possible?
The good news is there is a strategy that will supplant and actually be superior to that strategy that we will be announcing soon.
So that's a no on federal extension. That's a no on federal extension, but you're going to seek it and have a plan in place statewide. Right.
We already have the plan in place that should actually lead to even more testing going forward through a different strategy.
Okay.
And that new strategy is already in place.
Okay. When can we expect an announcement on what you're talking about that you're not ready to tell us today?
Hopefully within a week.
Okay. All right. Let's talk briefly. TAB, the enforcement around the state has been much talked about. We've seen video violators of the rules having their liquor license suspended for 30 days initially. That includes 3 bars here in North Texas. Are those efforts to find these violators going to continue, or was this just kind of an initial burst?
This is ongoing, and this is another one of the strategies that we're using to make sure that we are going to slow the spread of the coronavirus, and that is these protocols that were established, whether they be for bars or restaurants or for any type of business, they were established as the safe ways that we could open up Texas. And to the extent bars, for example, are not following these strategies, that means that they are in violation, and hence they can have their license suspended for 30 days for the first violation, longer than that for a second violation. We don't want to penalize these businesses, but we also don't want the coronavirus to be spreading across Texas. All businesses open must follow the protocols that have been established.
Yeah. Governor, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this before we let you go. Texas is a huge baseball state. Major League Baseball literally just shared a July 24th opening day for baseball, and that means the Astros and the Rangers, under your current limits, will be able to welcome fans back at 50% capacity. As we sit here today with the numbers ramping up that we see, are you comfortable with that right now, that on July 24th, 50% of fans will be welcomed into stadiums?
We're not changing that standard right now. For one, we hope to have the coronavirus better under control, but for another, we look forward to working with the teams and to find out their strategies to make sure that they will be able to open their stadiums up safely. Know this, and that is, if those teams cannot make the case to the public that their stadiums will be safe, the public will not show up. So I feel confident we will find safe ways to open up these stadiums and have fans in stands watching Major League Baseball.
Okay. Governor Greg Abbott, we appreciate the time and getting a few answers. Thank you. We appreciate it.